Hello and welcome to the Q Show. My name is David, though I suspect you all probably know that at this point. It's a very rainy day here in England, which to some of you would be disappointing, but for me right now I love it, and I'm about to go and walk a few miles in it to go and catch up with a friend. The English rain is as English as it gets. This tiny little island gets a lot of barrage of weather. That's a nice wind chime sound if you can hear that. And for me, while we get rain in Buffalo, it's a different kind of rain, and it isn't always in a state of flux like it is here in England. And just yesterday, for example, it was 20 degrees and sunny, and within 15 minutes it was cloudy and cold and raining. It's amazing how quick the weather changes here, and it really makes me feel at home experiencing that, right? I grew up here, and I think that I noticed it right away. The air felt different, the way the weather worked felt different, and I just enjoyed it. And so I enjoy all this. I love it. To be honest, I love, and here's a perspective I'll offer that I've developed and practiced over time, is just that any weather, I guess it's the overall philosophy of Q, in that it's like whatever the weather is, it just offers me different opportunities to test myself in different environments, in different situations, right? Different contexts. Doing something in the rain is very different to doing the same thing in the sun, right? So whether it's a blizzard outside or 35 degrees Celsius, I'm like, what is it going to be like? What am I going to be like? What's my body going to be like? Like, how am I going to navigate this situation? And can I push myself in this environment? See how far I can push myself. And so I love it. It just really offers a different lens on things. And me, as having developed my curiosity so much as well. Again, I've mentioned this before certainly, but the weather is an example I use of something that can change consistently, and it changes every day. And in Buffalo it does, here it does, and as a result of that, every single one of us reacts differently to different kinds of weather. And what that means is that every single day you are a slightly different version of yourself just because of the weather, and so is everyone else. So every single day you're kind of meeting different people, different versions of the same person, and that I find that so interesting. So keep an eye out for that. Like, it's a good thing to look at in patterns in people, how the weather affects them, and there'll be some obvious ones, right? When the sun's out, and I'm sure we can all share in this experience recently, and everyone is just filled with joy. The smiles, the energy, the vibrance just comes out, and the winter hits, the blizzard hits, and you're stuck indoors. They're the extremes, right? They're the things that everyone reacts to significantly different to the opposite end of the spectrum. But there's of course lots of things in the spectrum in between, and it can be really helpful to understand how different people in your life react to different stimuli like the weather. And of course I use the weather as an example, one, because it's just it's, I guess, a long-running joke in life that weather's the thing that people talk about, right, when they don't have anything else to talk about. But paying attention to it and how people react to it can be really interesting. But it is just one example, right? It can be anything else happening in life that's different, especially if it's something that changes pretty regularly and something you can be certain is going to be in your lives as part of your experience, and it will fluctuate the experience. So again, I would look at those in your own life and say, okay, what are those things about me, right? What do I react like? How does my body change? How do I feel? How do I think when it's like this? And what about when the conditions are like that? And apply that to almost any part of your life, and it can be a really interesting exercise as a way to kind of really build awareness around yourself, and again, your body, your mind, and all the things that allow you to really just perfect your output and input, to ensure that you are adding on and adding on and adding on, and just having the best experience possible along the way. So I'm in England, and it's the first time for me in almost 3 years. And the other thing that the reason, aside from the fact I'm getting to see wonderful friends and family, in the context of Kew, is that I conceived Kew here the last time I visited. And by that time I had moved to Buffalo. I'd moved from Los Angeles to Buffalo, and then I came to visit England towards the end of 2023. And it was during that time, and funnily enough, during a massive rainstorm, I was in Canterbury, a city where I went to secondary school, high school, and also college, which is like 17, 18 years old before university for the Americans, just to explain that, not university. But Canterbury is it's this amazing, very, very, very old city. It's a big walled city, and I'm sure you can probably understand why it's walled, as most things are when they're walled like that. But it's beautiful, and all the original walls still stand like Covent City, and inside it's just a really beautiful place to visit. And if you ever get a chance, you're in Southeast England, specifically in Kent, Canterbury is a great spot to go and visit. And I love, when I go back to England, or I'm here now, I love to go and visit Canterbury. And actually, one of the things, my fond memories of Canterbury is with my grandma. I used to see her at least once a week, and we'd go out for the day, and we'd go and we'd walk around to the shops and go have some lunch somewhere and a coffee. And Canterbury is where we would often go. We'd get on the bus, and we would and I lived about 45 minutes from Canterbury on the bus, so that was my commute to school. And anyway, I was in Canterbury on this specific occasion 3 years ago, and I think I'd just been in London. I just got back, and it was suddenly a torrential rainstorm happened, and at the same time, the original conception for Kew came into my mind, which was essentially that I wanted people, or wanted to help people develop kind of core human skills, kind of a lot of them built around effective communication, and I wanted to do it for experience, right? Because I understood that experience is the greatest teacher, and each other are the greatest teachers. So it just kind of came to me in a flood as this rain hit. And I remember like standing under the awning of the Marlowe Theatre in Canterbury, which is a funny memory because when I was a kid, I guess I entered a poetry competition to be the junior poet laureate of Kent, of our county, and I actually won, and it was in that theatre, and I had no expectation to win at all. It was such a ridiculous surprise. I didn't think my poem was that good. Even to this day, I'm like, I don't know why I won that competition, especially as a friend of mine had written this, and there was like a younger group and an older group, and he was in the older group, and he had written this incredible poem about the World War II. I still remember some of it today, and it was so well written and well read, and he won that category, and then some other kid won that category, and I thought that was it. I thought it was one of those two was going to be the winner, right? And even then, I didn't think I was just there as, I was just lucky to get in. But it turned out I won, and the funnier part of that experience for me was, for whatever reason, Ben Sherman was very popular clothing for a kid of my age, a teenager, back in those days, and I clearly hadn't understood that bright colours didn't work for me, and I was wearing this bright yellow Ben Sherman t-shirt with like short sleeves, and it was so incredibly bright, and I'm on stage and I have to read this poem after you kind of being announced as the winner, and my mum's got this picture on a disposable camera because this was the 90s, and the picture is all blurred out, and there's just this yellow blob in the middle of it, which is me on stage, so it always makes me laugh to think about that. But anyway, that's where I was outside this theatre, torrential rain, and it had just come to me, and I called my partner at the time, and I kind of just talked to her about it, and to kind of get the initial sounding board, and it was a very positive response right away. But at that point, hundreds of school kids arrived to go to the matinee at the theatre, and it was torrential rain, so they're all kind of crowding under the awning, and I'm just standing in a corner on the phone with this kind of rain on one side and then just all these kids, and it was such a surreal experience. But here I am again now, almost 3 years later, and in a very different place myself. The world is in a very different place. So being here has been just incredibly interesting. I've approached my trip here in a very different way to how I have historically. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but I would also say that like I've lived a life up until the last year, and now I'm living a whole new life. Like, so much has changed in so many wonderful things, and I'm able to see life in so many wonderful ways at this point, and with ease, and that's and it's allowed me to almost every experience I have these days. I look at it like a child. Like, everything is like brand new, even if it's something I've done before, or seeing a friend I've seen many times before, but maybe not for a while. It's like it feels very brand new, and I love that. It's such a really fun way to kind of navigate any experience in all my life, actually, that as I live today, but specifically right now as I come back to England. And it's been wonderful. And across this 2 weeks, I'll be spending the majority of it with friends and family, and doing some group things, which I'm very excited about, but doing a lot of one-on-ones with people, which I'm also really excited about, because I just, you know me, I like to talk to people and to hear about their lives and learn about what they're doing, and learn from their experience, right, and hear their perspective on my experience. So, and these people, the people I'm going to be seeing, are just people I love dearly, and have been notable in my life, and helpful to me, and supportive of me, and loving of me, and just great friends, and the kind of people that you can show up, and they're it's no different. The connection is there and as strong as ever, and probably stronger because we're older and we understand more how valuable it is to have people like that in your lives, right? There's different levels of people in your lives, and I feel very lucky to have a lot of really, really wonderful, strong relationships with people, and I feel especially lucky because I've been so isolated for such a long time, because I was really trying to understand myself and kind of work through all that and really get to this place. And so I was, on the outside for a long time, and it was a great choice for me, by the way, because I really got the work done and really focused over the years and got to this. But of course, part of that was for me ensuring that I maintain those relationships one way or another. And I was really grateful I did, and I'm so grateful to be here to see everyone and spend time. What else? I think it's really lovely being in London. I love my home in Buffalo, and it's exactly the right place for me to be doing what I'm doing and kind of building out these stages of Q, absolutely for now. But I miss England, and I definitely see myself spending more time here in the coming months and years ahead, as well as a lot of other places. As you know, I'm going to be intending to travel quite a bit. That's the ambition. But it's just lovely being here. I felt like a fish, being put back in the ocean. I just started swimming as soon as I got off that plane. Like, it was second nature of all of it, and just to kind of get into the flow. And there's so much walking in London, and it's just one of my favourite things to do. And especially when there's just so much around to see and people and experience, and oh my gosh, I'm just in heaven. Like, just the way my mind works and how I consume information, and I'm kind of really paying attention to what's happening, and seeing what value it offers, and seeing what the opportunity is. And it just means it's just like I'm experiencing London in a whole new way. It's like every sense has just been times by 1,000, and it just feels, I feel very connected to it all, to the experience here, and just, hopping on the tube and grabbing a coffee. It's just, I love it, and it's really fun. And for those of you who haven't visited London before, I highly recommend it. it really is. I think it's the greatest city I've ever been. I've lived in it for some years and been to, but I think it's a very special place. Super, super diverse. I mean, it's amazing. Like just how many interesting people there are here, and like energy. You know, it's New York has a lot of energy. London has absolutely the same level, just very different. It just feels very, very different. And I also just love hearing English people talk and how they think about things. I had this. There's this two things actually that just jump out as I think about a couple of experiences. There was a lady, she must have been in her 50s, walking along, talking to her mother on the phone, and this 50-year-old woman, and the sentence I heard her say was, "Oh, mummy, we've got to make sure you have enough butter." It just made me laugh so much. It was so like, and by the way, that's not like English. That's like so a certain type of English, but and I say that in an endearing way. It's like it's very sweet, but it's just like it's so caricaturistic of an English person. And then the second thing was yesterday. So one of the things I did differently this trip to what I normally do and do with most trips is in most trips. Especially from coming here, I land and I hit the ground running and I'm seeing people and I'm doing things and I've just got off plane and I'm sick by day 3, 4 or 5, right? And then then I'm sick for most of it and I'm tired and I'm overexhausted. So this time around, I deliberately made it so that the first couple of days were pretty light on seeing people and I could spend them by myself and get over the jet lag. And a couple of things. Because I eat so cleanly now and I don't drink or anything, actually jet lag hasn't bothered me at all. Like I just slipped right into everything. I felt great coming off the plane, slept a couple of hours maybe, and just I feel very, very good. And I think that is very much to do with the food and the water and just doing that stuff right. And then also on the day I arrived, Tuesday was my birthday, and what I normally do on my birthday is I go on a solo adventure, normally in nature somewhere, and I go and spend time reflecting on the year I just had, thinking about the year ahead. And this time, it wasn't an accident that I arrived on my birthday, so I had the day to kind of just be and just settle into it and just really do it. And then yesterday, which was like my first real day, and it was like a full day on my own, what I actually did was so fun. I went to the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum, of which I guess you're seeing pictures, because I might put some pictures up and some videos with this video, which you already know at this point, if you've been watching. And that is what I would do sometimes as a kid. On my birthday, my mum would go on the train from Kent, from Folkestone to London, and she'd take me to the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum, and I loved it so much. It was so fun, and so I did that yesterday on my own, spent a few hours in the museums, and it was just amazing. I loved it so much, and of course, I'm looking at it all through a different lens now. I know a lot more than I did the last time I was there, and I understand the context of so much more of it now as well, and so to bring that back to the other anecdote of an experience with someone that stood out, when I was in the dinosaur exhibit, there was loads of kids there yesterday, loads of school classes, and I just heard this kid walking along, and he must have been about 6, 7, 8 years old, just humming the Jurassic Park theme tune, and it just brought back like so much nostalgia and memories from watching that movie in the cinema as a kid. And of course, just even today, like I hear it from that kid, that theme tune, and you hear it anywhere, and it's just like, oof, like it just fills you with so much emotion about the movie and about yourself at that period of life, right? So, but I found it so amazing, and I guess a testament to the power of cinema in that kid, a couple of generations. I got cut off there, but I think I'd got to the end of that anecdote. The point of all of that was that it's just really fun seeing so many different people from different walks of life living out their own lives, and just getting to experience it a bit and finding connection with strangers just based on what they're doing and what I'm doing, and it's really fun. It's like a little game, I guess I'm playing, just kind of picking out these things. So I'm really excited about doing more of that. You know, I'm loving seeing people and that I know, and but I'm just also really excited about all the strangers I will come across along the way. And then yeah, I think I'll leave it there today. Because I'm going on some adventures now. I've got to go out and going to go and meet a friend. I'm heading over to Notting Hill, which most of you will know from, if you don't know, from being here from the movie Notting Hill, as charming as it is. Going to go and see a friend over there, and then tonight is the first game of the World Cup, which is another exciting reason that I'm here, or that the great timing that I'm here right now. As you all know very well, you know, England is the home of football, and it's coming home, right? We'll see. But I'm really happy to be here. It's been really fun to watch some of the matches in English pubs. There's really nothing like watching the football in an English pub, and that's exactly what I'll be doing tonight with my good friend Sakani, who's hosting me, one of my dearest, oldest friends. So we're going to go and do that, and then I'm just going to continue through the next 6, 7, 8 days, whatever I've got left, and just be present and really just try and take as much from every single moment as I possibly can, and I'm just enjoying all of it, really, every step of the way. And I'm very grateful to be here, and I am sure I will have a lot of things to talk about along the way, so I will endeavour to check in again at some point before I return. All right, well, big love, and thank you all for tuning in, and I'll be back.